Good day, gentlemen. I've been with my girl for over 5.5 years, and we've built a fantastic relationship. So I want to share 5 more brutally honest lessons with you, so you can actually build the relationship that you want. Because unlike popular belief, finding the right person isn't enough. You don't just find the right person and everything is perfect until the end of time. Bullshit. I knew from the start that my girl was an awesome woman, otherwise I wouldn't have made her my girlfriend, right? But the thing is, I quickly found out, even though she's an awesome woman, building an awesome relationship will not be easy. And if I hadn't learned what I'm about to tell you, my relationship would have gone downhill massively a couple of years ago, and it would have most likely painfully ended. Now, I want to preface all of this by saying most men will still not do what I'm about to tell you. And that is why they will end up as a statistic. A statistic like, 50% of marriages fail, the divorce rate is 50%, whatever. This video is for men who don't want to become a statistic. Men who despise being average. Because 50% of marriages fail, that's average people. I don't want to be average. And I don't think you want to be either. I think you're a man who wants more out of life and who is willing to do what it takes to get that. I hope you take this serious. Now, we're gonna get right into the deep end here, because lesson number 1 is you don't have the relationship you want because you're not as good as you think you are. And that's okay. Because now that I've told you this, you can go and you can continue saying, no, but everything's great, and you can continue pretending that you're good. Or you can accept that right now, you are not who you know you can be. And you can actually then, once you admit that to yourself, and you don't have to admit it to anyone else, just admit that to yourself. That's enough. Because then you can go and actually work on yourself and actually become who you know you can be. There's this quote that I picked up from the entrepreneur Alex Hormozi, where he says something along the lines of, better to know you're bad for a season than to pretend you're good for a lifetime. You can continue pretending. You can continue feeding your ego these messages of, I'm good enough, it's her fault, it's the world's fault, it's someone else's fault, whatever, when at the end of the day, even if it's her fault, why are you with her? Like, if she's a bad woman, why are you with her? That's your decision. Why do you stay with someone you don't want to be with? Your life is just your decision. That's it. And it is better, like Alex Hormozi said, it is better to know you're bad for a season than to pretend you're good for a lifetime. And yes, it hurts to admit to yourself, I'm not good. I hope you can hear me well. The wind it's like 8 degrees Celsius here. It's cold as fuck, and the wind doesn't make it better at all. But I hope you can hear me well with the wind. Better to know you're bad for a season than to pretend you're good for a lifetime. You can continue pretending, but it won't get you to who you want to be. Notice how I didn't say it won't get you to where you want to be, but to who you want to be. Because that's all that matters. An entrepreneur who makes $1 million, he doesn't just make $1 million, he becomes the person who can make $1 million. And the same exact thing is true for relationships. We'll talk about this more in lesson 5, but really this is it, man. You become the guy who has a great relationship, rather than you have a great relationship. You have to transform yourself to get to where you want to go. That's it. So admit to yourself that you are not as good as you think you are, because otherwise you would already have what you think you deserve. The reason why you don't have something is simply because you don't deserve it yet. Fuck imposter syndrome. You're just not as good as you think you are, or as you pretend you are. Admit to yourself that simple truth, and your life will change drastically, because now you have given yourself permission to suck, permission to not be a great boyfriend, permission to not be a great husband, and permission to actually get there, to actually do things wrong, to make mistakes that you can then learn from. Give yourself permission to suck. Admit to yourself that you are not who you can be, and that is why you don't have what you want to have. Just by talking about this right now, I remembered this quote by Jim Rohn, like an OG personal development mentor in that sense, right? And he said something along the lines of, you can have more than you've got because you can become more than you are. I think that's the exact quote. That sums it up perfectly. Now, lesson number 2, dude, the wind. Fucking hell, my hand is freezing, dude. Lesson number 2 is 2 lessons packed into one lesson because they go hand in hand with each other. The first of those lessons is something I learned from a mentor of mine who's a bit older than me, like decently older than me. Not old, but older. And he has achieved more success than 98% of men in all 3 big areas of life: health, wealth, and relationships. And on top of that, he's at peace with himself, which is what most people who have achieved some kind of financial success just can't say about themselves, right? But he's at peace with himself. He's grounded. And he recently told me, when I asked him a question about my business and how much I'm working and the stuff that's going on in my life, not even how much I didn't complain about anything, I just wanted to know his honest answer. And he just told me, prioritize your peace. Because without peace, none of this shit matters. Your 5.5-year relationship doesn't matter if you're not at peace in it. Your success, the money you're making, doesn't matter if you're not at peace with yourself. Your health doesn't matter for shit if you're not at peace with yourself. It doesn't matter. If you're in great shape, it doesn't fucking matter. If your mental health and your peace with yourself is fucked. And the reason I'm telling you this is because if your relationship destroys your peace, disrupts your peace, then you need to fucking do something about it. Don't sit around passively waiting for something to happen. Actively do something about it. And I'm not telling you to break up with her, even though that might be one way that for some of you watching this might be the actual best way, right? But I'm not telling you to do that. What I'm telling you to do is, I need to combine this with lesson number 2 from these 2 lessons here that go hand in hand, right? Because what is the opposite of peace? It's stress. And now I heard a quote by Tim Grover, who is an athletic coach who has worked with people like Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan was his first ever client. He was like 27 or something, and Michael Jordan was the first person who hired him. What the fuck? Doesn't make any sense, right? But that's how good this guy is, Tim Grover. And he said, very simply, stress is just pressure you haven't dealt with. Let me say that again. Stress is just pressure you haven't dealt with. And so if your relationship disrupts your peace, because peace is the opposite of stress, right? And stress is just pressure you haven't dealt with. Ask yourself, what have I not dealt with? What pressure am I pushing to the side? Is it a hard conversation with her? Is it you opening up about something and being vulnerable without complaining, but just being honest about something, right? And saying, hey, this is fucked, but I'll figure it out. You don't just become this whiny, nice guy personality, right? You open up, you say what you want to say, you're authentic, you live your truth, but then you also build security for her and you tell her, I'll figure this out. I know that I'll figure this out, right? You get the point. Is it something else where you just maybe getting in shape? You're not in shape and you think because you're not in shape that your woman will cheat on you with someone who is in shape. Well, then get into fucking shape and work on your insecurities, right? But in any way, if your relationship disrupts your peace, that is because you have not dealt with some kind of pressure that is stressing you out and that is disrupting this peace. Deal with it actively. Conquer that pressure. Now, lesson number 3 will honestly surprise you, but before we get into that, real quick, if you are serious about transforming your relationship with your woman, then I want to offer you my help. What you can do is you can apply for a discovery call with me, where we can talk about your relationship and we can talk about where you're at, where you want to go, and whether it makes sense for you to work with me. If that sounds interesting to you, just click the link in the description, apply for that discovery call. It literally takes 1 minute, and then I can mentor you on this path to a great relationship. Check it out. Now, lesson number 3 is money doesn't build a great relationship, but this lesson goes way deeper than you might think. So the thing is, I only recently became more well off financially, or like decently well off financially, right? At least in my worldview. Thing is, at the end of the day, you need to create safety for your woman, right? You need to provide security for her. But that has way more to do with your state of mind, with your goals, and with your actions day to day than it has to do with your bank account. Because here's the thing, I was broke for the first few years of the relationship. I was broke, I was skinny, I was at the bottom of the social hierarchy, literally got bullied when we got together, and still, she trusted me because she could see that I wouldn't stay this way, that my life wouldn't stay this way. It was evident that I would get to where I want to go. It was evident, and funnily enough, everything that she could see in me back then, and that I could see in myself back then, actually came true, or is about to come true. And she trusted in me because she could see from how I talked, how I acted day to day, that I would get to where I want to go. And now I'm there, or not fully there obviously, I have other goals, right? But I have achieved a lot. And here's the thing, I'm not saying this to brag or anything. I'm saying this because, say what you want about the Tate brothers, right? And obviously I don't agree with their relationship advice. You get the point, right? But one of them said, being a brokey has way more to do with your mindset than with your bank account. And I agree with that. Because again, my girl could see that I'm not there yet. Broke, skinny, bottom of the social hierarchy, and now I'm none of these things anymore. And she could see that, like, it was evident that it wouldn't stay like this. And that's why she trusted me. Not just because I talked about this stuff or because I had goals, but because I acted in the right ways. So if you're broke right now, that's fucking okay. Your woman will not judge you for it. Your woman will also not lose respect for you if you need to borrow money from her or from your parents sometimes. Only if you don't do this because you're lazy, but because you actually need the money to maybe invest into something or whatever it is, right? She will not lose respect for you if she can see that you will get to where you want to go. There's a beautiful story that also Alex Hormozi, who I mentioned earlier, tells, where this was like mid-20s for him. He had already built kind of like very good success, like 1% of top 1%, top 0.5% of earners, but then he lost everything. And what happened was, well, he literally lost everything, and he told his back then girlfriend Layla, I'm a fuck up right now. I don't have anything. And I can understand if you want to leave and be with someone who has his life figured out. And Layla told Alex, I would sleep with you under a bridge if it came to it. The cow agrees. Maybe you can see the cow in the background, but yeah. I would sleep with you under a bridge if it came to it. That's trust. People who tell you, money builds trust. Bullshit. Mentality, goals, and actions build trust. That's it. At least trust in the fact that you'll figure it out. That's it. And look at them now, they're married, they're both worth like 100 million. You get the point, right? And I'm not saying you need to be worth 100 million, I'm not saying any of that. What I am saying though is, if she can trust you, that you will figure it out because there's evidence, tangible evidence in your thoughts, your words, your actions, and your goals. Most importantly, your actions. And she will trust you, even if you're broke. Now, lesson number 4 is very, very important. And it is very simple as well. Working a lot has never destroyed a single relationship. Not being present has destroyed these relationships. And I can confidently say this because for the last 4.5 to 5 years, I have worked 60 to 90 hours a week. I have taken, in the last 2 years, I've taken 2 holidays for 5 days each. I have not taken a weekend in like 4.5, 5 years. And yet I still have a fantastic relationship. And here's why. Because I am honest. And I had to learn this. At the start of the relationship, I wasn't honest about this. But I am now honest about when I want to work and about when I want to spend time with her. And because I do this, when I do spend time with her, there is nothing I would rather do. And I'm not thinking about work. I'm not thinking about anything that I still need to get done. I'm fully present with her, fully there with her. Here's the simple truth. Most men are not confident and secure enough in themselves yet to where they say, no to their woman when they want to say no. But here's the thing, she can read you like a book. She does read you like a book. She knows when you want to work rather than spend time with her. And she will inevitably lose trust in you if she can see that you're trying to please her by spending time with her, even though in reality you want to work. My girl might not like my decisions when I work, right? She wants to spend all day, every day with me. She does definitely not like those decisions when I say, no, you know what, I'm not going to spend time with you today. I'm going to work, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that, right? Whatever it might be. It doesn't always have to be work. You might also just want to be alone for a bit. Just be with yourself for a bit. That's completely okay. But here's the thing. When I tell her this, she might not like these decisions, but she loves them. And she can love me and trust me more because she can see that I'm living my truth. You need to become the guy who can confidently and lovingly say no to his woman and say, no, I'm not going to spend time with you today. I'm going to work. And then once I'm done, then I'm going to spend time with you. Because it doesn't benefit her or you if you spend time with her while you're still thinking about work, still obsessing about your to-do list. You're not present with her. She doesn't feel the connection with you. And then she becomes irritable because she doesn't feel the connection. Simple as that. If she can see that you don't say no when you want to say no, if she can't trust your no, she can't trust your yes. And that's a big deal. So learn to say no to her when you want to say no. And don't say it in a dickhead way. Say it in a loving way. You can still say this lovingly. You can still explain it to her like, hey, I wouldn't be able to be present with you right now. And that's why I'll work. And then afterwards, we'll do this together. You give her something to look forward to, right? Learn to say no and learn to be fully present with her. Now it's even starting to rain, man. Fucking hell. Yeah, let's get to lesson 5. I need to get out of here, man. Now, lesson number 5 is by far the most important lesson in this whole video. I always keep the most important lessons to the end of these videos because I only want the guys who are fully committed to actually transforming themselves and their relationship. I only want those to get the great lessons. So, G.S. Youngblood said, "You might not be the problem, but you are the solution." And he talked about relationships here, right? In a relationship that's not going well, you as the man might not be the problem, but you are the solution. And what he's hinting towards here is masculine leadership. Not control, but leadership, right? Leadership means you're not a weakling who pleases his woman, a nice guy, but you're also not a tyrant who rules over her. You lead both of you to a better life. You provide security for her. That's what a leader does. And a leader never blames anyone for his circumstances. This is why I hate when I read comments on YouTube on my videos sometimes. I hate when, like, this happens rarely, right? Because I think my audience is quite mature at this point, but sometimes, very rarely, I read these comments of men saying, oh no, it's her fault, it's this, it's that. I'm like, brother, first of all, you just took away all control from yourself because you have an external locus of control when you say this. And second of all, you choose her. Like, you chose her as your partner and you stay with her. How the fuck can you blame her? It is your decision to be with this woman. How can you blame her for your bad life? Get the fuck out if she's that bad. Take responsibility, or take responsibility and actually transform the relationship. But don't complain. Like, I actually get angry at this shit. Because here's the thing. When your woman is irritable and she's nagging and she's uninterested in sex, not to generalize here, or actually to generalize here, right? I'm generalizing for sure, but most women do this because they can't feel your presence. They can't feel your leadership. They can't feel connected to you. Or they don't feel connected to you in those moments. And so she becomes irritable and nagging and uninterested in sex to kind of through the back door show you, hey dude, you need to step up. That's it. And I'm not saying she's smarter than you and she knows more about relationships than you or whatever. I'm just saying this is how it is for most men and for most women. And so, man, you can either continue blaming her or you can take responsibility for your own life, for her life, for your relationship together. This is what most men do when they become a man. They take responsibility for themselves and for other people, And you can lead her lovingly. Again, not the weakling, not the tyrant, the leader. You can lead her and yourself to a better life, to a better relationship. And by the way, if you are one of those man-children arguing that, she has to do her part as well, she has to do her work as well, she has to work on herself. No shit, Sherlock, of course she has to work on herself, but I'm not talking to her, I'm talking to you. Of course she has to work on herself, but I'm talking to you. And that is why I'm telling you that you need to work on yourself. And that you can't change her. The only thing you can change, the only thing you can actually transform is yourself. And that will have an impact on her. So learn to be that guy who leads his woman, who positively reinforces her good behaviors, who helps her grow into the person that she actually wants to be. A guy who provides security for her, provides structure for her, doesn't react to her emotional storms, but responds to them with love and with care, not in a nice guy way, but in a leading way. You don't take disrespect, but you react with love, you stay open. Right? And at the end of the day, what most men don't realize, why most men don't have the relationship that they want, simply because they don't realize that if they help their woman become who she truly wants to be, not who she tells you she wants to be, but who she truly wants to be, then she will become exactly who you want her to be as your partner. But you can't do that by changing her. You can only do that by changing yourself. And that's why G.S. Youngblood says, you might not be the problem, but you are the solution. She might genuinely be the problem, but you can't change her. You can only transform yourself and then affect her so she transforms into who she wants to be. That's all you can do. Now, if you've come to the conclusion that you want to give your relationship the best shot possible and you're a hard-working man, then I want to offer you my help. Because I've helped a bunch of hard-working guys go from very similar positions to you, most likely, because otherwise you wouldn't watch this video, to where you want to go, to that relationship that you truly want with your woman. And what I offered all of those guys was a discovery call with me. Now, this call is free, but it's not a free coaching call, because my time is too limited for that nowadays. What I did with these guys in these calls was, we basically talked about where are you at right now with your relationship, where did they want to take their relationship, and can I help them get there? Can I help them bridge that gap? And if I could, I told them what I have to offer, how it works, and they could decide whether they want to be a part of it or not. Now, this discovery call is also what I'm going to offer you here. But I want to say this quickly. My time is limited, just like your time is limited. And I'm growing very quickly on YouTube right now, so there's a lot of men wanting to work with me. But if you are actually ready to take that step and to level up your relationship and to get to that point where she is so open and joyful and sweet and radiant and loving, and you feel peaceful and respected and desired by her, then what you can do is you can go to the description of this video, click that link there, and apply for a discovery call with me. The application takes literally 1 minute. It's just 5 simple questions that I need to know before I hop on a call with you. And yeah, if your application goes through and if your application is good, then I will reach out to you and we will get on that call. If that sounds good, then click the link in the description right now, fill out the application. Like I said, it takes literally 1 minute, and then we'll probably talk soon. Quit wasting time. Quit fucking around. You know I can help you, otherwise you wouldn't be watching this video. And yeah, maybe we'll talk soon. Have a great day.